Well, it's 333. Good morning. I know some of you don't like numbers. I don't care. I do. 3339, completion. Master number. Completion again. Final eyes. 9 is a final number. Anyway, the title today is Solid Matter Beyond Canon Law Lies. Liars in law, aka lawyers, use words and twist meanings. Nowhere is this more true than in Maritime, Admiralty, Canon Law, the law of the sea. In my recent dream, I was floating across Godwin Ave in Midland Park. I was going back to my roots in this lifetime, yet seeing a vision transplanted out of the American Southwest. Of course, my earliest roots were in Waldwick, the light in the woods. What does this have to do with anything? Well, let me open my mouth, sending out the vibration of my voice, and see how the Spirit Father and Earth Mother reclaim the land, the world of matter. Yes, canon law is a lie, but it is not the law of the land. It never has been. And all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. I can hear you chuckle, because I just chuckled. Humpty Dumpty, what does that have to do with canon law? What does that have to do with anything you've just talked about? Midland Park, Waldwick, Godwin Avenue. I mean, what does that have to do with anything, Ron? Yeah, I can hear you asking me that. Well, if it wasn't for the Brevard Busking Coalition and the illustrious leader of the band, Jared Campbell, that's the band, by the way, that my son plays in, I wouldn't understand what Humpty Dumpty had to do with anything, except that Humpty Dumpty was a canon, according to one legend. There's more than one legend. This is just one of them. And Humpty Dumpty was a canon sitting on the wall. And it was St. Mary at the Wall, the Church of St. Mary at the Wall, and it was being defended in the siege by the royalist defenders. And it was a walled town with a castle and several churches and was protected by the wall. The story given was that a large cannon, which the website claimed was colloquially called Humpty Dumpty, was strategically placed on the wall. A shot from a parliamentary cannon succeeded in damaging the wall beneath Humpty Dumpty, which caused the cannon to tumble to the ground. The royalists, or cavaliers, all the king's men, attempted to raise Humpty Dumpty onto another part of the wall, but because the cannon was so heavy, all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. Canon law. It's Roman law, also known as. It's the law of the church, or the ecclesiastical law, that supplanted the common law of the land that gave people at least a semblance of rights. And the law of the land as constituted in our Constitution made common law the law of the land. Period. But it was supplanted by the church. The church is always the supplanter. And the agents of the church, also known as liars in law or lawyers, used the cannon, which is a weapon of war, to wage war on humanity, deceiving and stealing our rights and causing untold misery as the lawyers, liars in law, in cahoots with the bankers, also known as banksters, which is a gang of people that rape and rob and deceive and defraud people of their wealth, of their value. These two went into cahoots, and they started to buy politicians, which are nothing more than clowns that are puppets that do the bidding of the people that buy them, that hire them. In other words, they're paid prostitutes. And I was thinking of Constitution and prostitution. They, I don't know, con means against and pro means for, and we got raped. In the whole thing, we got screwed. And we live in the land, as I said, of lies and ludicrous labels. But the canon law is falling down. Humpty Dumpty took a great fall and is taking a fall, even as I speak these words. Humpty Dumpty is falling. Canon law is falling off the edifice that has been built. And all the king's horses and all the king's men, that's of course the royalists, that's of course the royal families, if you will, are trying desperately, some of them, to hang on. But there's been an edict issued by the ambassador, and I'm issuing it, and others have issued similar edicts, that ultimately the vibration of our edicts go out and will bring down Humpty Dumpty. And all the king's horses and all the king's men will not be able to put Humpty together again, because it is based on fraud, deception, but also force. And the kingdom of heaven is not a kingdom that suffers violence. It cannot suffer violence. Only kingdoms of the world can suffer violence, because heaven doesn't have to do with violence, it has to do with peace. So that's why I found it interesting that I was traversing the town that I grew up on, or the street that I grew up on, in the town that I grew up in, Godwin Ave. We win with God, but not the God of this world. Not the lying, deceiving, backstabbing God who demands worship and demands that we do it his way or no way. You know, the arrogant God that doesn't understand the word love and doesn't understand the meaning of a lot of words and doesn't stand under all of the laws of the canon or the laws of the sea that are wishy-washy and fling us about, and we're all considered lost at sea. We're lost souls. We don't know who we are. We lost our identity. We forgot. Yeah, all of that. That's why the lies have worked so well. But something's happening. Something's happening in 2012, 2014, 2015, whatever. It's happening in this time frame, this window of opportunity that opened up in 2011, where we entered into the time beyond time, or the timeless time, or whatever you want to call it. We entered into that on 11/11. We entered into that time frame that we're in now, where everything is changing, and the word, the vibration, the sound is going out, and it's shattering the walls of the edifice of the old system. Whether the king's horses and the king's men like it or not, Humpty Dumpty has fallen. And they're not going to be able to put it together again. Maritime law is a law of lies. It is a law of deception. It is a law that has enslaved and extorted beyond measure. And we as humans have the opportunity right now, right in this day and age, to claim back our rights, which are natural rights. They were ours all along, but if we didn't know we had them, what good were they? Now we're remembering. There's a lot of us out there that are trying to get some of you sleeping people awake so that you understand that we're doing something for you that's good. What was it that Plato said? I put it in Let me just go to this page again. Here, hold on just a second. Is it, was it in? Oh no, it was in my email. That's right. It wasn't in that. It was in the email. Metagroups, community calendar. Those who are able to see beyond the shadows and lies of their culture will never be understood, let alone believed by the masses. That was Plato. But he said that a long time ago, folks. Times are changing. As Bob Dylan said, the times, they are changing. Indeed, they are. Now we're beginning to understand the duplicity, the arrogance, the control mechanisms that have been employed in the canon law system, the law of lies, the law of corporations, the law of commerce that basically is the law of the mob, the gang, the people that run racketeering operations. Wake up. That's the reality of the world, and you need to see that. You cannot turn your head on it. You can if you want, but you're not helping anything. You're actually going along with the continuing deception, the continuing lies. You're supporting that. If you're not standing against it, you are supporting it. Listen to me. There's no neutrality here. You're either supporting lies or you're supporting truth. And the only way you can support truth is by owning the lies, recognizing them, calling them what they are, calling politicians what they are in the role that they're playing, recognizing the masks that are being worn, recognizing all of these things that are going on in our world, and saying to the dragon and Russia. Now, I should have looked more of that up. I saw an image of the eye of the dragon above one of the high-rises in Moscow, one of the new high-rises built under Putin's reign or administration or whatever you want to call it. It comes out of the Lord of the Rings, the eye of the dragon. Well, the dragon is waking up. Now, we can see the dragon as an arch enemy, as Luciferian, as demonic or satanic, or we can see the dragon as the life force energy in creation itself, that we can actually take that and transform the energy for good. We can transform everything in this world for good as long as we build it on the foundation of truth. But you can't build on the foundation of truth till you acknowledge the quicksand of the foundation that we've had, which is lies. That's why Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall, because the wall was hit. And the wall has been hit, but it's actually been built on quicksand. It's actually been built on shifting sands. And those sands, the sandstone city that I saw above Midland Park, that city where the people were wooden, okay, that when we talk to the wooden statues, they can come alive. We can look at the valley of dry bones, and we can speak words of life. And the bones are connected to each other and become an army, a Gideon's 300, if you will, or a Gideon 3,000, or whatever is needed to transform the lies, to transform the fantasies into a beautiful reality and make it a tapestry that shows beauty and depicts solidity. Not ethereal stuff, but solidity. We solidify the creation in truth and get it out of the sea of lies, the Admiralty sea, the fantasy, the place where we've been. And we get the vision of where we're going. But we have to see how we got here. We have to see the truth and tell ourselves the truth. We have not only been lied to, we have lied to ourselves. That's the message I'm going to give until I get tired of giving it. or until I have another message. But it's something that's so important. It's so important that you understand and that you believe what I'm telling you, because I'm telling you the truth. God is working these things in me, in my dreams. That's why I can't sleep. I lay there for probably 2 hours, almost 2 hours, before my feet even hit the floor. I'm laying there, and all these things are going through my mind. All these images, all these symbols, all these words, all these things are going through my mind. We can win with God in the middle of the land, and we can return from the law of the sea, the maritime law, to the law of the land, to the common law. And when that is funded and backed by the gold that is our inheritance, the real treasure, we are the real treasure, but the real symbol of the real treasure, the pure gold of creation, when that backs our economies and financial system, and it's done in truth, not in lies, not based on the old system, but based on the new system, which is really the old system, because the law of the land is actually more ancient than the law of the sea, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I didn't research that. But I know in the United States, the law of the land was established with the founding documents of this nation, and then it was usurped in the 19th century by the bankers. And they were trying to usurp it even in the 18th century with Alexander Hamilton and others. Folks, we need to understand our history. There is a war being waged on ignorance, and that means stop ignoring the things that you don't want to pay attention to. Because when we reclaim those things for our heritage, when we reclaim those things and transform them, we transform ourselves and we transform the world we live in. We can have peace and prosperity, but we have to base it on truth and justice. And we have to stop this Admiralty system of canon law, of letting the Pope own our souls. That's insane. To let a psychopath, I don't care how much, he tries to put on these fancy robes and stuff like that, he's still a pedophile priest and a psychopath. And we need to forgive. I'm not saying not to forgive, but they need to fully repent and remit and surrender. All the king's horses and all the king's men need to listen to what the ambassador is saying. They need to listen to what the prophets are saying. They need to listen to the men and women of vision that are being raised up all over the planet. They need to listen. And the sound of our voice, the vibration of our voice, brings a resonance that puts back the pieces that have been scattered through eons of time. And we're going to have lives that are worth living. That's the vision that I was given this morning. Thank you for listening. Namaste.